A very long time ago, in 2004, a game was released that I spent a lot of time playing as a kid. Dawn of War is an RTS game that had me glued to my computer for many hours. It also managed to plant the seed that would one day become my love for the Warhammer franchise. This is a game that holds a very special place in my heart, and I've recently had a burst of enthusiasm to play a lot of the Warhammer games, both new and old. So I decided to start by playing this classic one more time. Today, I'm going to be focusing on the first act of the campaign from the original base game, where you play as the Blood Ravens and fight the Orcs. Originally, I just wanted to see if this game would still hold up against the test of time, but I was pleasantly surprised to find out that it's managed to age like fine wine, because it's freaking amazing still. Installing and playing it on my computer was a bit of a struggle at first, because back in 2004, when it was made, HD resolution wasn't really a common thing, so when I tried recording gameplay, it looked like this, so yeah, no. Thankfully, the die-hard community for this game managed to save the day. There are some absolute chads that have managed to make mods which will allow you to replay the original campaign with updated resolution. Not only this, but they pretty much decided to remaster the whole campaign while they were there. Yeah, you heard me right. They just went into insane detail, making the campaign as fleshed out as it was originally intended, with cut content being finished and added back into the game. This wasn't for money or fame, just some passion and hard work to take a classic game, fix any shortcomings, and add details that I never thought I would ever see. I suppose this video is both a celebration of a classic game and a massive shout out to people who are genuinely passionate and give a shit about the game. It makes me feel like I'm not alone, and that something I treasured in my childhood was just as important to other people. It's so nice to be able to just replay the game and have an experience that is as good as my memories from all those years ago. For any of you interested, I'm using the campaign missions mod for Dawn of War Soulstorm, which can be found quite easily, and you just copy the mod files into the game files for Soulstorm, and there you go, you're cracking. So, Dawn of War, where do we start? Well, the original game had this amazing introduction with a fantastic cinematic that was honestly way ahead of its time. Remember, this came out in 2004, and it still blows me away to this day, both visually and intensity-wise. It perfectly captures Warhammer 40k, and it honestly has me shouting, "For the Emperor!" along with the Space Marines. Seeing this cinematic when you start the game just always makes me pause and just enjoy how cool it is. I just realized I'm 4 minutes in and I haven't even started talking about the game. Alright, let's run through this. The game starts mid-battle, with Imperial Guard soldiers failing to hold the line against a horde of orcs, and some of them are even running away, only to be shot in the back by their commanding officer. That makes sense. That's peak Imperial Guard. Our protagonist, Captain Gabriel Angelos, God damn, that's a Chad of a name, comes in and saves them with his Space Marines, and you immediately get a perfect grasp of his character from just such a short cinematic.
If your men have failed you, I will leave their judgment in your hands. Thank you, my lord.
I am not here for your thanks. This port must be held if we are to maintain troops and supply lines to the planet's surface. That is why we are here. Now, what of the wounded and the civilians?
Stranded. We have few ships.
Then you shall have more. All Blood Raven flights execute Protocol 23 and initiate civilian evacuation. We will dispatch the ground forces.
Yes, my lord.
He is a practical and blunt man, giving the impression that he's been through this more times than you can count. He doesn't bother about reassuring the guardsmen or their commander. He just wants to dish out facts and orders. So, after saving the colonel, he then explains that the orcs are bound to return in greater numbers, and that he will eliminate them before it comes to this. The game has so many good lines of dialogue, like, not everything is perfect, but it's really memorable, and some lines are just badass.
Orcs only respect strength. I intend to show them that we have it in ample supply.
If we intimidated them into doing our bidding, showed them our strength, they would take pause before betraying us.
You cannot intimidate something that knows no fear.
I shall not cede command of my Space Marines to him, Inquisitor or not.
Then why is he here? Does he suspect one of us of heresy?
He is an Inquisitor. They suspect everyone of heresy.
Before I go any further, let me just take a second to say, holy crap, this campaign missions mod is awesome. They added so many extra details that weren't even in the original game. The captain gives a brief order to start evacuating civilians. Bam, there you go, civilians lining up to be evacuated. And that wasn't in the original game. The Space Marines have updated units and models which look amazing. They added some quality of life changes, and to top it all off, they have even re-scripted some of the events of the campaign to make more sense. Let me give you some examples. The original game was really zoomed in, and you could only ever see small portions of the battlefield. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for an RTS game, so they added a zoomed out view. The original game was sometimes strange because you would help save some Imperial Guard soldiers and they'd just sit there and stare at you. But in this version, they actively join you and provide support to help you eliminate the Orc menace. The point I'm trying to make is that the original game, its characters, the setting, and story, they're all really good, but the mods have added that extra layer of polish that just wasn't there before. It smooths over the entire experience and just makes it a joy to replay. But back to the story. The second mission has you scouting out and eliminating Orc camps with the goal of killing their leaders. The original game is a bit tedious at this point to do things the stealthy way, but the mods simplify things a lot by giving your scouts some timed explosives, which make a bit of sense for sabotage, and you can then call in the big boys to steamroll your way through the Orcs. This isn't a big mission gameplay-wise, but it does give you a couple of pegs story-wise to learn a few more bites of information, because the captain has just returned from performing an exterminatus on his own homeworld, down to the last man, woman, and child. So the chapter's librarian Isidore is basically just giving him some good advice and helping him to stay rational. And while he's called a librarian, he's basically some kind of a mix between a Jedi and a space magician. He does appear to have some degree of an ability to sense things, and that does have him pretty on edge, because there's a mysterious, spectral figure that seems to have some kind of effect on him. I think it's also worth mentioning that the game has these small details before you jump into a mission where you have a tactical map showing you the orc groups, and just realizing how surrounded you are. You feel kind of fucked before you head into a mission, but anyway, the third mission has you returning back to relieve the capital city of the planet from another orc attack. And it actually tells you in the briefing that the mission's going to be a little bit more chilled out. I think this is a good time to mention that because you have the support of the Imperial Guard in the mod version, you actually get it. Like, there's a constant respawning force of Imperial Guard that help you fight the orcs. So just those sort of small details that they've just expanded on actually make more sense. I really do enjoy seeing a commander go into battle, because this game makes it so cool because they can just send units flying around the map, and they do some really awesome executions, which is so freaking awesome. After purging the orcs, you find out that there is a war boss, and that he has orcs acting all sneaky-like and retreating away to amass their forces. Very brutal, very cunning of the Green Boys. After chasing them into the fourth mission, you find out that the plot thickens because the evil forces of chaos have been puppeteering the orcs all along. The war boss is just great. He's really orky, and fighting a Squigoth is also very fun. Just throw tanks at it and it will eventually die. You know what? Just turn the whole battlefield into a Michael Bay movie, and there you go. Mission accomplished. However, when the dust settles, you find the burned remains of some of your battle brothers, some of the Space Marines. And one of the scouts was able to get a glimpse of a dropship which had the symbol of chaos on it. The plot has definitely thickened, and to top it all off, there's now the arrival of an Inquisitor, with some pretty damn impeccable timing. Almost too impeccable. So suspicions are elevated to say the very least, as the game finishes off the first act. If you do want to see me continue this onwards, then please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm not trying to be a shitty YouTuber splitting the video up, but I genuinely am going on a family holiday for a couple of weeks, and I won't be able to play the rest of the campaign and make it all one massive video. So hopefully you do enjoy this kind of road, and we can continue it onwards when I come back. I'm trying to make a couple of different videos before I go, so that way there's something to keep you all at least entertained. But that's pretty much about it from me. So I will see you all on the next one. I've been Kiv, and I'm out.